And we are live. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world, and welcome to another edition of Living World of Darkness, New York by Night, the vampire venue. The events of the last few months have made it very clear and evident that the Sabbat has indeed infiltrated New York. It has staked its claim, and it has begun to push into Camarilla territory. Several times already, the Sabbat have struck. One being a very major and very public instance of senseless violence. As such, the prince has decreed that coteries come together for this fight against the newest Sabbat crusade against the Ivory Tower here in New York City. The members that gather tonight in a area below an abandoned building, a old subway maintenance station that leads down into the Nosferatu Warrens, will be the site of an espionage and tactical planning seminar being held by none other than the members of the Shattered Mirror and the Nosferatu themselves. And it just so happens that those are the two neonates that are currently going to be involved in tonight's scene. How about that? So we start as Eleanor and Alex are sitting in this sort of open area, brightly lit up with spotlights and whatnot, area lights. And there are a few individuals milling about that seem to be in on this, though they are sitting far off and away from the two neonates they don't know, talking amongst themselves in little groups. Perhaps they're coteries, perhaps they're just old allies. Who knows? But at the moment, Alex and Eleanor are pretty much sitting there by themselves to socialize if they want to. And this is where we'll start our scene.
On LWoD's side, because she's definitely a very friendly person. Definitely. She's gonna look around, trying to notice anything about anybody, and turn to the being next to her, give a nod of respect and a silent hello. She's not going to say anything first, but it's generally a good idea to simply be cordial to the people you're around. You never know if they'll be of use. Or you may be of use. Who knows?
When she looks over, Alex looks back and just kind of nods his head once, says, "What's up?"
Hello. Nothing much except the intrusive lighting. But can't really complain. Have to get your vitamin D somehow, right?
I don't think that's a thing anymore.
Probably not, but I guess it's one way or another. Better than using candles. Fire and tallow can be a little annoying.
That's what you find annoying about our existence?
Well, the fact that some of us can have very long talks. And I imagine the upkeep be a little annoying and relighting everything and finding a way to get rid of it. The little things. I figure it's focusing on things that are tiny, minute, so that your brain doesn't suddenly spasm on the existential crisis you're about to have, and the fact that existence is futile, and the non-existence is not futile. But hey, let's have fun anyway. Oh yeah, I focus on the tallow.
Alex just kind of stares at her for a moment and, fair enough, I guess.
She gives him a rather small smile. It's like, good. Or at least that's what the smile says. So, what exactly do you think is going to go on?
I imagine we're going to get our marching orders.
To and fro they go, and 3 by 3s, 1 by 1, and 2 by 2. Not sure. I mean, I'm sure everyone has a little plan here or there, but more information is always needed. It's just hard to find accuracy.
That depends on your sources.
I guess you have a point. I've been here long enough to really gain good sources. Sort of sources that have pumping hearts, blood and such. Very useful indeed. But none of the colder-like, I guess. It's gonna be like academia all over again. Smile and wave. Sit down and kiss a few asses. Fun under the, well, invasive spotlighting. Doesn't roll off the tongue so much the Beach Boys would be so disappointed in me.
You got some milk blood on you?
Is it that obvious? Is something in my teeth? To like pick at her teeth, like, oh. To the lunch?
Just a keen observation, I guess.
Eleanor's gonna shake her head and kind of wave her hand at him. And being obtuse, yes, a lot of milk, actually. Or, I gather, as much as can be, or not as much as could be. Kind of be in the middle, I guess. Not sure how it equates. But do I find the intricacies of the world and helping people in the best of ways? Pretty much. And do I like that it unnerves people? Oh, indeed. And she's got a wide smile in the way she ends that indeed.
Do you ever play a game called American McGee's Alice? Or Alice Madness Returns?
Yes and no. I find that I didn't have exactly a lot of time, but I did watch the Let's Plays. Very, very fun. The people playing it, not so much. Annoying creatures. But I do know exactly who you're talking about. And yes, I do feel a kinship with the cat. And its ability to destroy people. that was fun.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
A disembodied voice comes out between the two of you from seemingly out of nowhere. Same page with the crazy blood. Son, that is a dangerous place to be.
Eleanor's neck will slowly turn, so you hear a click in the vertebrae. Hello.
How's it going?
Peachy keen, can't complain. How may we be of assistance, or would you like to take a seat?
He is currently sitting on one of the yellow railings, and he'll look at himself, and then look over at Eleanor.
Obviously you found one, but I'm not sure if it's comfortable or not. Just asking.
There have been worse things done to my ass in my time. This is plenty comfortable.
Curious, but I'm not gonna follow that road.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Oddly enough, Vegas, scary ass place for kindred.
Oh, that sun too. You'd have to hide in the places where it doesn't shine, and the people who live there probably might have some issues.
I mean, it's a fucking 12-hour buffet, all hours of the night. No scarcity of people. But A lot of scary shit out there besides the bloodsuckers. A rough place.
Can you imagine how many bodies are buried out in that wasteland around it? Tiny,
Family
beautiful little...
seems to think quite a few.
Just imagine it. A lovely little oasis, full of life, a city of losers. And yet the skeletons they must have and the intricacies of the puppeteers, it sounds wonderful but horrifying at the same time.
Neat. So, you two are, oh, well, you look like the only two out of the new group of neonates that I can see. You, he'll look over at Eleanor. You see this blue-haired chick around? She owes me some information. Haven't seen her in quite a while. She's one of your ilk. Shattered mirror. Also kind of crazy.
It seems to be our shtick.
It's a blood curse. At least you don't, and he'll kind of gesture at his face.
I'll look for your little girl Blue. Did I tell her a name of someone who's looking for her?
Just let her know that Casta's looking for her. She needs to make good on promises. That's all.
I'll tell her you said that. I honestly do hope she doesn't shoot the messenger. It'd be so annoying to get that out.
Well, have you ever been shot before as you are now?
No, I'm happy to say no, but I'm sure that experience will change in time.
It stings a little bit, but I would much rather get shot than get stabbed. But that's just between me and you two. Because if that gets out, then I know I'm going to get shot at on the way out of here by some chucklehead that thinks he's a smart aleck.
Don't worry. I feel like a lot of people might have annoyance with stabbing versus shooting. I mean, if you're shot, all you have to do is take out the bullet. If you're stabbed, you just have to hope that the knife isn't serrated and cuts more things on its way out.
Mm-hmm. You know something about necks being cut?
I know intricacies of weaponry and ways to do your best in a small amount of time, or at least the tools of it.
And you might actually be useful this time around. As far as bodies go, the last crusade that happened here, I heard, pushed all the ivory tower into hiding. Bad juju, that. Eleanor, wasn't it?
I don't remember giving you my name, but I'm sure you have ways. Yes.
Yeah. You mind if I talk to my my associate here for just a brief minute in private? And he'll put a hand on Alex's shoulder.
Eleanor will look at Alex, raise an eyebrow, and nod. By all means. And she'll rise up and kind of walk a distance away. Just kind of be a wallflower for a bit. Get a different angle to spy on people. Well, hide in plain sight at least.
You look green, kid.
Do I?
Like, literally green. Your complexion and all.
It changes with my outfit.
This gonna be your first time involved in something like this?
In this crusade? Yes.
What's your previous experience like? As far as combat goes.
As far as combat goes, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Well, you're gonna want to get that worked out here soon. I've known members of the family that are on that side of the fence. I still keep in contact with a few of them. It's their bread and butter. The whole sect is good at fighting. You should probably learn how to handle a knife at the very least. If not, a good shotgun.
I know you stick the pointy end into the opponent's flesh.
Try and learn a little bit more. Get some grace under fire going. And really look into getting a shotgun. Believe me, you ain't got to aim it much. And it does a lot of damage, especially if you point it at the head up close. It's worth it. Believe me, it's worth it.
All right, I will look into getting a shotgun. And I'll brush up on my ninja training.
You have the ability to turn completely invisible yet?
I'm working on it.
Got the ability to change your face?
No.
Work on that too. Had enough dead Nazis in my lifetime. I don't look to have to deal with any more of it this time around. Sick of watching our people die. Sick of watching their people die. And he'll gesture over towards Eleanor. As crazy as they are and grating as they can be sometimes in their speech patterns. They've always been close to us. And they're always good to us. I ain't looking to see any more bits of me are smashed up again,
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
That's good, kid. They're going to start soon. Pay attention. All right?
Always.
And Castor will get up and walk away.
Eleanor will wait just a couple of moments before gliding back and taking your seat once again.
And then somebody walks out into the center of the whole group. Woman pulls back a hood from over her head. She'd been mingling in and amongst the Nosferatu primarily. But as she steps out, she pulls it off. She's clearly not Nosferatu. Or at least if she is, she has mastered Masks of 1,000 Faces. Everyone doing good tonight. There's a chorus of, yeah, uh-huh. Some smart-ass remarks. Some very cordial remarks. Some very proper remarks. And it sort of kind of goes in a circle before the responses start to creep up on your left side. So it's your turn.
And Alex will say with a smile, information isn't free.
Sort of like freedom in that extent then, huh? Or in that regard. Huh.
Very true.
So everyone here, you all can consider me an outside consultant. Shattered Mirror from a few cities over. I go by Domino. A member of the Shattered Mirror, and someone who has a vested interest in seeing this crusade of Spot fail miserably. I'm going to get around to each of you tonight to discuss the finer points of exactly what we want to do. Everyone who's been brought here has some sort of ability, or at least was recommended by someone who has proven themselves. For some of you, it may be mentors. Others, it may be your sires. Or some of your comrades. whatever the case may be, you're here because you are needed. And as such, you should know what you're dealing with. And a couple of Nosferatu good brothers bring over a sheet and drape it over one of the higher railings. And a projector is placed on a table and turned on. Some of you were at the Elysium. Others of you weren't. But I'd like to introduce you to the war general of this crusade. He goes by the name of Gustav. As far as we're concerned, he is known as the War Prophet. No one knows exactly how old he is, but we know that he has been operating in and out of Sabbat territories since before the Second World War. He has outwitted us in many theaters. Every time that he shows up, a city has fallen. And as such, him being here does not bode well. Other packs, especially the more martial ones, seem to follow him wherever he goes. And younger, thirsty packs follow him to look to make a name for themselves. We're working against pretty shitty odds right now. She'll then click a button on a little remote. Right now, these are other known operators in the city. They go by the Bowery Boys. Rumors are that their leader, guy by the name of William, may actually be a historical figure here in the city. I'm not really sure. These genteel Canaanites had shown their faces when we first retook the city. They were offering membership to undeclared neonates. They were trying to recruit in a way that was far more diplomatic. We know that most of the neonates turned them down, but a few did make the initial offerings that they needed to make in order to join the Sword of Cain. Find ourselves facing off against these individuals. Don't let their cordial outward appearance fool you. Bruja, Ventru, and La Sombra in this pack. The latter of which, and she'll point down to the woman with the blonde hair. We know that she is a shadow practitioner. Very skilled one, too. Anybody here seen the power that La Sombra hold? Should look around.
Alex shakes his head.
Eleanor will also shake her head lightly.
Put it lightly, it's terrifying. And deadly. And if she is as skilled at it as many have said, she's also damn hard to kill. Keep that in mind. The other three are a bit more manageable. They're very straightforward and blunt in the way they do things. If you see her, mind your distance. Don't go into battle headlong and half-cocked. And the projector will go off. Because each one of you has a specific skill or a set of skills, we'll be looking to employ those in any way, shape, or form. So for now, everyone just sit back and relax, and I'll get around to each one of you in kind. And she will begin to mingle around with some of the larger groups and letting you two sit there and talk about what you've just seen and learned.
Well, that was interesting to say the least.
It's basically Big Bad Scary Sabbat Man is here.
Sounds like we'll definitely be keeping our ears and eyes open. There may be a couple more people. My question is, how do you, if you're stuck with that shadow, I don't know, shadow being, person who's got that kind of hand in their pocket, if you have no choice but to confront them or they confront you, how exactly do you fight someone like that?
My guess would be, since we are neonates, that we run like bitches.
Running is a good exercise.
It's called a tactical retreat.
Leave the premises to find out something else on another date, or is it fight for another day? Who knows?
I'm secure in my masculinity to run like a girl as far away as I can.
Considering we do have a lot of professional female runners, normally better than the males, definitely run like a girl, man. You do that shit. Use those legs. Gracious. All right. I'm guessing we're just cannon fodder, realistically, since we don't know shit. Or not enough shit to actually fight these people.
Well, I'm not cannon fodder.
So you can go toe-to-toe with the Shadow War?
No, but that's not my area of expertise. If I have to go toe-to-toe with Shadow Monster, then I've done fucked up.
This is true. I'm also not for the front lines. But hopefully they don't shove us there. I do well with people. Not necessarily many. But I know people pretty well.
They put us on the front lines because they want us to die.
I mean, yes, but the most inexperienced in the front so that they can really kill twice.
No, thank you. I'm a survivor.
Anyway, in any case, being useful is probably the only thing to do. How to be useful and avoid death, however, is going to be an interesting situation because I'm sure they have their own intelligence committee that is curious about our lovely little city here. Apparently, if they're already kind of skirting the edges, like little mice biting, nipping, wiggling their disgusting bellies into the area.
Mice are disgusting.
I'm sorry, have you ever had to fight off a rat king or a fleet of mice from destroying precious artifacts? They can be disgusting, especially if they bite you. And all you
Alex will
have
kind of
is
open
a
up his
boot.
jacket pocket, and inside his pocket there's a rat sticking his head out. He looks at us and she's not talking about you. It's fine.
Listen, as long as your friend doesn't eat 15th century art, I'm perfectly fine.
I don't think
The
so.
ones,
Not to my knowledge.
well then we're cool. The ones that do, however, can burn in hell. Especially because it cost me like 7,000. Excuse me? Wipes straight there. Money.
He kind of scratches the rat's ear. Don't worry, Pocket. She won't do anything to you. She just got hit by the crazy stick.
Some might consider that insulting. Mr. Rathborn, I believe it is.
If it makes you feel any better, you can say I was beaten with the ugly stick. You'd be even.
I say you're more of a modern art masterpiece.
I'd
Or at the
concur.
very least, a really good rendition of Lovecraftian horror. Take your pick.
I'll go with Lovecraft.
Good man. And you must be... She'll look at her tablet. Eleanor Vega?
Yes, this is me, Nazon Vega. Here to assist in any way I can.
Your sire said that you were inexperienced, but resourceful.
Yes, to both. I don't know everything that has to be done here, but I know people, and I know how to handle people, generally. At least, if I need something out of them.
And on your end, Mr. Rathborn, your contemporaries say that you have skills in decryption and electronic intrusion. Is that correct?
I dabble here and there.
Well, impress me. And she'll set down a laptop and open it up and turn it on. I'd like you to connect to the MTA databases. I'd like you to here and now get me live camera feeds of Grand Central Station. Think you can do it?
Yes.
Well then. And she'll sit down with her tablet, and she'll pull out what looks to be a digital stopwatch. And she'll look at him, and then she'll just simply nod her head, and she'll press the button.
Okay. Would you like me to roll?
Yes, sir, I would.
What would you like me to roll?
I would like you to roll your I'd like you to roll your intelligence computer, please. Say difficulty 8.
Specialization hacking?
If you get any 10s.
Okay. And willpower?
Yeah, you're trying to impress. I'll let you spend a willpower. Sure. Vampire dice roller.
No, I'm in the wrong dice roller.
Yes, you are.
There we are. Okay. Just start. Why doesn't that work for me?
Because there's not a space between the R and the 8.
That would be why. So 1, 2, 3, 4 minus 2. So 3 total.
Well, it's difficulty 8, but you have computer aptitude, so it'd be difficulty 6.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 2 1s, so minus there's 4, so what's willpower is 5.
Yeah, so 5 successes. It doesn't take you much time at all. It's a matter of minutes, almost 20 minutes in total, as you go through the various steps of looking for various backdoors into various MTA websites until you actually find a like a oh god, I forget what the name of it now is, but essentially it is like a maintenance site, and you have to jump through some hoops and whatnot, but you eventually get there, and you are able to get a few good hints on what you need to do as far as breaking into the system. You track down some email addresses and whatnot, and you get a username. However, in the course of your digital intrusion, you find that this is not going to be your standard case cracking, so to speak. This will be a little bit of a tougher nut. And to do so, you're going to have to decrypt some pretty intense data encryptions. I would like you to roll your wits cryptography, please.
Okay. Your aptitude play into it?
Yes.
I try doing that every time. 1s today.
You can't seem to get through this encryption. And while you have a login, you don't have a password for it. Would you like to try again at a higher difficulty?
I would.
All right. It'll be difficulty 7 with your aptitude already included.
Another willpower?
Yes.
Okay.
Please keep track.
Yes. Oh, I fucked that up. 3.
Not bad. Not bad at all. It takes you a good bit longer. You're there settling for encryptions for like a good hour and a half. Domino goes around and talks to some of the other gathered groups, the pseudo coteries, before coming back to you and checking in. And you finally get what you need. You enter in a password that is highly inappropriate. And if you had, in your mortal life, maybe had to have called an internal tech support sort of number, and you had to give them your password, might have been somewhat embarrassing. But whatever the case may be, you do manage to get a login, and there's a massive list of things you can go through. But you do find camera feeds, and you do find a folder that has stream links specifically for Grand Central Station.
Is there anything else of use that I could grab real quick while in here?
There is a number of different stations within the greater New York area that you see at your disposal right now.
Sweet.
At that point, Domino turns to Eleanor. Eleanor, if I were going to have you go to an art show to try and sabotage some of the retainers of the more well-to-do dandy types that are in this war code or this war crusade,
Mm-hmm.
and you were to come across an art connoisseur, how would you ease into the conversation, trying to figure out whether or not he was indeed a knowing participant like a ghoul, or an unwitting participant who simply does something that he thinks is his idea?
Eleanor will take a moment, tilt her head, think, and come back. If someone believes that it is fully their own idea, generally, there will be someone that they're trying to disprove to show them, I did this, I can do it. And it would most likely be that person using them. So it is the art connoisseur who is loving about, prideful in their gallery. They will reveal themselves, because even though they like to say that they're confident, they'll have that insecurity, that need to show the other person that, look, I'm actually doing it, I'm proving you wrong, even if they like to say they don't. 5 times out of 10, well, most likely 7 times out of 10, depending on how high pressured the connoisseur lackey is actually being pushed, you'll be able to see who exactly he's looking to. It'll probably narrow down to about 3 people. 2 assistants that are helping him run the gallery. One will probably be working for the person on the other side that we're trying to fully learn about. But if it's high profile enough, it'll be both assistants, both of which working underneath the connoisseur, so you can actually know that he's being led by the hand. If they were a ghoul, they wouldn't be as full of themselves, most likely. They know they're not running the show, but they still want to be confident because they want to look good for the person who's really in charge. In honesty, the ghoul would probably be the more smoothly confident because they know that they have to do this right. It's life or death.
Well then, if that's the case then, you've discovered that this person is indeed a ghoul. And in your conversation, they have sussed it out that you are a kindred. Not a canite, a kindred. How would you handle the conversation from there? Would you be able to keep your head leveled in such a situation? Let's say that, for sake of argument, you also have a taste for exquisite art. And that various paintings, especially of a bygone era, mean quite a bit to you. I imagine they probably do. She'll tap a few things on her tablet, and then she'll hand it over to Eleanor, and you'll see the picture is a picture that you recognize. One that you sold to someone who became a very important figure in your life some time ago.
Eleanor will twist her head. I see. I recognize this picture, but I'm sure I'm supposed to.
This is a live camera feed of it right now. If you would please direct your attention to the bottom part of the screen.
Eleanor will move the tablet and view into that bottom part.
Those are Bunsen burners set to a remote command, and she'll pull out her cell phone and she'll open it up, and you'll see that there's just a big red button in the center of her touchscreen. I'm going to set this picture of Faust on fire.
Why? If I may ask, you must have some reasoning, because I know that belongs to my sire, and I'm not sure what your relations are with him, considering you're from several cities away. What's the purpose?
She'll simply raise a brow. Just keep watching the screen. And she presses the button. And you see that the burners are beginning to burn underneath the wooden frame. I would like you to please roll me self-control.
Yep. Alrighty, give me a sec.
I'm going to say difficulty of 7.
Fun.
Not quite at the difficulty of 8, simply because it's not your particular piece. But it does have some sentimental value. And we are in the vampire dice roller.
I just have to find it on the sheet. Is it just straight
self-control?
Should that be 4 dice? Groovy. Am I in the right one? Yeah, I'm in the right one. Come on, Eleanor.
You are unfazed. Explain Eleanor's face as she keeps her cool.
Eleanor will gaze at this beautiful portrait of Faust being lit aflame with the recognition of someone who knows things simply must be. This is how things are going to go, and she'll figure out something else with it. It's as if she's watching a half-assed 1980s fashion piece on the intricacies of broad shoulder pads. It simply is. She'll watch and watch and watch, waiting for some sort of instruction. It simply is. That's how it's going to be. Information will be stored, but there's nothing she can change now. Just vary and pass. Like, okay.
Satisfied, she presses the button, and the burners immediately shut off, and there's only just a small sort of discoloration on the frame itself.
Eleanor will turn to Domino. Is everything to your satisfaction? Or shall I have done different?
So far, so good. She will then turn over and look at Alex again. And she pulls out her cell phone, sends out a text. Alex, please roll me your perception computer.
Perception and computer. One, two, three, four, five, 6.
Those are 10s.
If hacking is a specialty, then
Oh, no, sorry. Well, even without those being exploding 10s, diggity damn. Alex, you'd notice it well before you should have. Someone was maybe just only slightly keyed in onto you. But you notice that there are countermeasures currently being deployed in another part of the system, which are essentially meant to cut off your method of escape and thus ruining any chance you might have of being completely undetected and untraced. I will now need you to roll your wits computer difficulty 8 with the difficulty reduction in mind, please.
Ouch. Hacking is specialty. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 if not.
Wow, Paul,
This is called karma for those ones earlier.
explain to me exactly how Alex manages to hide his presence in this system from a very skilled opponent who simply just came up against the wrong person today.
Let's see. We'll say that so this is like a concealment.
Yes, it's to basically back out of the system without being caught.
Let's say that he covers his tracks by creating several very sophisticated dummy files that just look like old cache files, cookies from websites that the employees probably shouldn't be going to on company time, and get randomly purged from the system.
Well, you not only do that, but you probably also get someone fired.
Yeah, well, shit happens.
You know, because they find this folder of, latex porn or latex suit fetish porn, cached in a very important folder that shouldn't have things saved in it that aren't mission specific for that particular server.
Whoops.
So you're almost sure that some poor sap is getting fired tonight.
Does this satisfy my trickster demeanor?
Yes, it does.
Hey, willpower.
Super fired.
Super, super fired. Domino sits back. She seems somewhat impressed. She looks at you with a smirk, and then she turns to Eleanor.
But is it possible, since I have the critters background and my rat can give me something useful, that he's able to grab something from her pocket while she's not paying attention?
Sure.
Doesn't have to be useful. Just something like that was in her pocket and she didn't notice it go away.
You get a flash drive, actually.
Ooh, flash drives are important.
Could be useful later.
I'm gonna see if I can plug that into my get it on my tablet real quick.
All right. While she's occupied with Eleanor, you plug it in, and it is password locked at the moment.
Okay.
Might be something you can crack, but you need to do some research on it because this woman doesn't look like she's. She looks like she's someone that plans things out fairly well.
She's gonna notice it go missing before I'm able to do that.
Will she?
And we'll find out.
Eleanor. Domino sits there and looks at you. I heard from Castor that you're very new to this. Hmm?
Yes. Very new indeed. But always been able to soak up knowledge quite easily. And this seems like a kind of area where you either do or you die.
When's the last time you bled?
You mean have a snack?
No. And she'll look over at one of the people that she had been keeping company with, and she'll kind of gesture him over, and he'll pull something from under his coat and put it into her hand. Looks to be a sawed-off shotgun. When's the last time you bled, Eleanor?
Apparently not recently enough. Not in the near history, if I can. Since, well, I came to be.
What I'm about to do is going to be unpleasant.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be. Lots of little unpleasants everywhere.
Well, that is the nature of buckshot. If it helps, I'm not doing this in any way, shape, or form to cause you permanent injury.
Have at it, I guess. Goodbye, new top. I liked you.
And she will take the shotgun, and she will put it right up against your chest. She'll pull the trigger. A loud bang echoes as you're in an underground area that has mind-numbingly great acoustics. Can you soak for me 1 bashing damage?
Do I just roll stamina for that? What?
Yeah,
just one?
Just your stamina, because vampires, unless it's aimed at the head, only take bashing from firearms. And moreover, any bashing you receive, you have it because you have you have undead flesh.
Well, she's got stamina too, so let's see about that.
And at the sound of the deafening gunshot, Alex is going to jump up out of his chair and go, "Oh, what the shit?"
All right, I got a 6 and a 9. How does that go?
That is a successful soak. Soaking is difficulty 6.
Sweet.
So it may fuck up your clothing a bit.
A lovely new top she just bought. Not bitter.
But did nothing to your skin. Doesn't even leave a bruise. Not that you bruise anyway at this point in your own life, but you know. Little pellets begin to fall off, and some of them fall and pool in like your like the area of your shirt that's tucked in. Others fall to the ground, making a little skittering noise.
Well, that was a very useful experiment. I knew, but I didn't know. Also, that was audibly painful. I think I might have wanted the pain more than the eardrum shattering.
Luckily, we really don't get tinnitus.
I'm so glad I'm not up to date with my shots.
Not tetanus, tinnitus. Mwah.
Oh, the eardrum thing?
Mm-hmm.
The ringing in the ear. Well, do we get tetanus?
Pretty sure we could probably carry it if we were really reckless. But I don't think you can actually get tetanus.
Well, then, sucks for everybody else.
Hey, what the shit? Are we just shooting each other now? Is that a thing we do?
I mean, if you would like to be shot, I can.
No, I don't want to be shot. What the fuck?
She was teaching me a lesson. There are things I do not know.
The shotgun blast to the chest? What kind of lesson is that?
It's a warm hug.
Well, To be fair, Alex, firearms don't do much to us. You're probably aware of this. Yes?
Yeah, but I just had a guy tell me I need to get a shotgun because it hurts.
And yet she's still standing and unfazed. I'd say she passed. But I'll tell you what, if you are fussed about it, she'll just flip the shotgun over, grab it by the barrel, and hold it out to him. Merry Christmas. Or Happy Year of the Dog.
Oh, I'll take it for shotgun. Sure, why not?
Ooh, wow. I've got some bullets, but I don't think you can use them again.
Alex will take the free shotgun.
All right. I think I've seen a fair enough between the two of you. I am going to give you a dossier. She'll start to pat her pockets down. Could have sworn. I will send you a dossier. And there are some targets that I would like to see dealt with. Some of them are the fleshy variety, some of them are the digital variety. But essentially, taking them out should undermine our unwanted guests. And that is what I'm hoping I can get out of the two of you, among others.
Fun. And Eleanor actually smiled.
I like the enthusiasm. And then she'll look over at Alex.
Yeah, sure.
Good. Do you all have any questions for me before I take my leave and give orders to the next group?
We'll be able to contact you if we have any questions.
She'll pull a card out and hand it over to Eleanor.
Eleanor will take the card and thank her.
I'll take one of those as well.
She'll hand it over. Any questions from you?
No.
Well then, that's good enough for me. And she makes her way on to the next group, leaving you all to your own devices. And if there's nothing else,
I don't know. Eleanor will suggest exchanging numbers with her new compatriots.
Sure.
My nephew thinks this is also a good idea.
I have to take out a pen and just jot his number down on slip of paper and hand it to her. This is a number to a. He doesn't say this out loud, but out again. This is a number to a burner phone.
All right. Thank you, and I will text you soon. And have fun. And she'll kind of like look at the dossier. Very interesting. And she'll kind of think of the dossier. Very curious about what's the contents.
and with that, we now have a small group of skilled individuals who aren't necessarily the combat monkeys of the war coterie, but who will perform a task that is no less important in this campaign against the Sword of Cain. And with their marching orders been given to them, we will call this a scene. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watcher, for watching. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Camarilla in the Streets and Sabat in the Sheets. Thank you and good night.